The financial crisis has had many consequences, one of them being on the housing market. The average American is negatively affected by the housing market. As citizens of the USA, the housing market's consequences on the people are tragic and unfair. Today, we will be assessing how the financial crisis in the housing market affects the average American. Many Americans today, low, middle, and high class, have been impacted by the financial crisis. For people who are trying to buy or sell homes, the task is extremely difficult. Brand new homes were and are being sold for little money, causing less incentive for people to buy used and old homes. This causes a lack of monetary circulation. The drop in prices of new homes made it nearly impossible for people to sell their used and older homes. This caused them to be unable to buy new homes because they could not sell their own home. The crash of the housing market caused Americans to be unable to sell their homes, specifically the middle class, creating major problems for those who could not pay off loans. Because the housing market crashed and people could not sell their houses, those unable to pay off loans on the current homes were essentially trapped. Not only could they not sell, but they also could not downgrade to a cheaper home due to their lack of money. The downfall of the housing market trapped many middle-class Americans in this way. Another way in which the fall of the housing market impacted the people was by fundamentally taking money out of the hands of homeowners. Because new home prices were so low, the values of the houses already owned by people dropped drastically. Let's take a look at the circumstances of the average American adult's homeownership issues. The average American adult was somehow affected by the financial crisis. Whether it was a rise in gas prices or boost in food prices, the crisis affected all taxpayers. Because they were already put on a tight budget, they were unable to sell their homes because the fall in the housing market significantly decreased the value of their homes. Essentially, those trying to sell their new homes were forced to compete with the housing market and realtors, which resulted in them losing a significant amount of money. The crash of the housing market caused people to be unable to sell their homes, which caused realtors to be unable to sell new homes. Until the people started taking the risk of buying a new home, the housing market would have to be put on hold. Another consequence of the crash of the housing market is a decrease in the employment rate. There are many various types of workers that work in the housing industry, directly and indirectly. Some of these include realtors, contractors, construction workers, electricians, carpenters, concrete workers, and many, many more. When the housing market failed, a considerably large number of these workers were laid off. These millions of laid-off Americans increased the unemployment rate by almost 10%. This does not account for the millions who received a reduced pay rate. Because people were not buying new houses, workers were not needed to build the new homes. Thus, this caused a great increase in the unemployment rate. The consequences of the housing market on the people of the U.S. comes down to three main consequences. 1. The people were unable to sell homes. 2. The people were unable to buy homes. And 3. Millions of Americans were unemployed. These are the three major ways in which the people were affected by the housing market. After all, life is but a game.